recently sold about a year ago. It changed ownership, and there was vineyards growing here that were established.
And they
the
ripped
person
them
that
out?
bought them, yeah, pulled them out and replanted them, knowing that it was going to take another 3 to 4 years before they got fruit.
Wow.
Because they wanted this configuration and maybe a different varietal. I don't know what was growing here before, but it could have been that they changed the varietals too.
Are those cardboard or plastic, those tubes?
Those, I think they're plastic.
I didn't know if it's something they intended to sort of fade away on its own, or...
So even in the 70s and 80s, when they were doing a lot of planting out here, initial plantings, it was kind of the Wild West. No one really knew exactly what would do well in each of these areas. It wasn't really that established. Now everyone knows, okay, this area is really good for Syrah. But even 10 years ago, people were planting things that were completely inappropriate for this area. It's only been recently that people have really known, okay, plant this and you'll do okay.
So again, they planted on the flat. They left the hill alone and they chose to plant on the flat? Just because it was easier, because it was
probably
established?
Easier, already established. They already had maybe the irrigation set up there. And there are, there's a lot of people that are still planting on flat terrain, but the industry, overall, it's always better to plant on a slope if you can.
What about the labor aspect of the stuff? Should we be feeling guilty at all?
Because people are...
So migrant labor that's necessary to...
Well, that's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
I don't feel guilty. I feel a sense of appreciation. Now that I know, because I've been here and I've helped at these different wineries during harvest or during different times of the year, just to learn myself. And when I first started drinking wine, I would just go to the store and grab a bottle off the shelf and not think twice about it. But now, I really have a much deeper appreciation for what it takes to produce one of those bottles. And the guys that I appreciate the most are the ones that are actually picking the fruit. Because it's, it's all hunching and stooping and crouching, and it's pretty hard work. But, I think that some of these wineries that are organic and biodynamic, and there's a division called Sustainable that has just gotten a certification program together. Certified Sustainable Vineyards. And Sustainable certification, not only does it deal with how you farm as far as like what you put on your grapes and how you water them, it also deals with labor, how you treat your employees and that aspect. So I think more and more people are starting to think about that aspect, not just take people for granted.
So this area here is just massive. What winery is this?
This is Firestone. And if you look over here, see these
Firestone, yeah.
Gnarled and old those are? Those were planted in 72.
Wow.
And those are the oldest vines you'll see today. And they're still producing. They're still producing.
But they seem to be in a vertical configuration.
They do, yeah, exactly.
So as early as 72 they were starting to...
They